Hello, everybody out there in Rumble X and YouTube land. Welcome back to Diego Knows. I, of course, am Diego, and today we're going to talk some more about The Housemaid, your favorite movie, not mine, from December of 2025, last year. Okay, and what a cultural impact this movie has made for women. It's doing very well at the theater, over $300 million. Okay, for a chick flick that cost $35 million to make. In the past 2 years, Sydney Sweeney, her Q score has gone way up ever since Madam Web came out in 2024. I believe that was February of 2024. I did not go see it, even though it is a comic book movie, which are the kind of movies that I love. But by 2024, the comic book movies have started to suck. Okay, they're all woke. Okay, and the comic book movies were supposed to be for young men. That's like power fantasies that young men have. But when you watch a comic book movie and you're told that if you're a straight, white, young guy, okay, then you're the problem, and a strong, tough, independent, black lesbian is the one to show you the way, okay, once that started happening over and over again, it's like, we checked out. We quit watching those movies, or at least we quit paying to watch those movies. I should say that. All right. So, yes. So by 2024, it was already so woke that people weren't going to the theaters anymore. Okay, not to see any superhero movies. Okay, unless it's something really good, like something you had to see. And there hasn't really been like a super good, like really good superhero movie since Spider-Man: No Way Home. Okay, and that was in what, 2021, I think, or 2022, something like that. Yeah, that was like the last one that was like really good. Okay, although I did kind of enjoy Wakanda Forever, Black Panther. Okay, I didn't like the fact that they turned the leader of Atlantis into a Mexican. I thought that was kind of bad. Okay, and that they defeated this Mexican leader, because I guess there's an underwater civilization of Mexicans. They get defeated. He gets defeated by drying his back off. I'm not making that up. Okay, and they thought that was an appropriate thing to do in a movie. Okay, anyway, because I'm Mexican, Anyway, so people aren't going to theaters anymore, okay? But for those of you who don't realize this, okay, popularity in Hollywood, okay, the media buzz, so to speak, it's called a Q score, okay? And the Q score determines how popular you are, how relevant you are in the current zeitgeist. Okay, how often are people talking about you online? How often are you getting clicks? Okay, people discussing you. How often are news channels or YouTubers talking about you? How often is that happening? Okay, the more often it's happening, the higher your Q score is. Okay, the more you're in the public attention, okay, the more often you're in the public attention, the higher your Q score. So clearly celebrities and stuff, people like Elon Musk and stuff, Donald Trump, okay, they're way up there. Okay, because they have a high Q score. They're being talked about all the time in the media. You can't get away from them. Okay, every time you turn on your phone and go through social media, there they are. Okay, they're always being there. Okay, that's what separates the famous people from the unfamous people. The higher your Q score, okay, the more famous you are. Okay, now because we live in a capitalist government, despite what the liberals want. Okay, anything with a high Q score can be monetized. You can make money off of that. You can make money off of fame. Okay? Yes, you don't have to have any talent. You don't have to have to work hard or anything like that. Okay? If you're famous, it can be turned into money. Okay? Probably look at the Hawk 2 girl. Remember her? Remember that? Hawk 2. Spit on that thing. Remember her? Okay? Like, she got like all these millions of dollars after that and got a pocket. Now she lost it all because she's stupid. And she tried to sell us like cryptocurrency or something, and it turned out to be a fraud. Okay, but for a while there, she was doing very well. Maybe like a decade or so ago, y'all remember that girl, the Cash Me Outside girl? Okay, that gutter trash. Okay, that 13-year-old ghetto chick. We thought she was black. She went on Dr. Phil and said, "Cash me outside." And the next thing you know, boom, she's getting music videos. She's getting modeling contracts, all sorts of stuff thrown her way. Okay, was it because she had talent? No, not at all. It's because of her Q score. Her Q score is high. Her Q score was high, and they turned that into money. Some producer, some agent got involved. Oh, I can make money off of this. And that's usually what happens, okay? Well, Sydney Sweeney has to compete against all these other pretty girls in Hollywood. Okay, and because Hollywood is run by a bunch of woke libtards, okay, they're only going to give what they want, okay, a chance. Okay, what they want. Okay, so that puts Sydney Sweeney at a disadvantage because woke Hollywood, run by lesbians, okay, ugly lesbians, okay, and gay guys for the most part, they don't want sexy women that are going to turn men on. They don't want that. Okay, they want mid women. Okay, because of representation. There's too many beautiful women in Hollywood, so you have to make mid women and treat them like they're beautiful. Okay, that way more women will come to the theater. Because it's always about what the women want. That way more women will see themselves and they'll go to the movie theater. Okay, they don't give two craps about what men want to see in a movie theater. They just give a shit about what they want. You see what I mean? And Sydney Sweeney is a threat to them because she's too sexy. Okay, men are going to want to go see her. Okay, she's very feminine. Okay, she shows off her body. She wears tight clothes. She has big natural breasts, and they're real, so she doesn't have to like get implants, because I mean, any man over 30 years old who sees a woman with implants, the first thing he's going to think is insecurity. Okay, it's insecurity. Okay, that's the first. Now, 16-year-old boy ain't thinking that. Okay, but a 30-year-old man, who's knows his way around a vagina, has had a few in his life, he's gonna think that insecurity. That's why she had the fake boobs. Okay, no feminist is gonna tell you that, but it's the truth. It's the truth, because it is the truth. Okay, so so Sydney Sweeney doesn't need fake boobs. She's got real big boobs. She looks very good. She looks very sexy. She's a very attractive woman, and that threatens a lot of mid women. Okay, especially the ones that these lesbians have been hiring. Okay, because Hollywood is, for the most part, casting in Hollywood is all women. It's all run by women. Executives, it's all women. Okay, and that's the truth. That's the truth. That's why it's so hard for an average guy to get cast in a freaking movie. Okay, because they're only going to cast a certain type of guy, and they're only going to cast a certain type of woman. Okay, and if you're white and you're straight, and God forbid you're Christian, forget about it. Forget about it. And Sydney Sweeney kind of falls into that category. Not only is she white and she Christian, and I think she's conservative, although she has never officially proclaimed her political stance, which is what all celebrities should do. They should just shut the hell up about their politics. Okay, because of that, Hollywood does not like her. Okay. Now she was dating, I think she was dating like an agent or something like that. That's what got her shot. She came off of a hit TV show called Euphoria, which I never watched because I'm not gay. Okay, but I do know that there's a lot of ugly women. Zendaya was on it, so I know there's ugly women on that show. Okay, and Sydney Sweeney is not one of them, so clearly she was a standout. Okay, we have a bunch of dogs in the room. Okay, the one beautiful one is the one you're gonna remember. Okay. I'm sorry, but Zendaya is about as good looking as my asshole. All right. Okay. But not Sydney Sweeney. Okay. So she got her shot. Okay. Her Q score went up. She's on a hit show. Her Q score went up. Let's give her a shot. Let's give her something minor like Madam Web. Okay. She's not the lead in that movie. Dakota Johnson was the lead in that movie. She was one of the three like sidekicks that Dakota Johnson had in that movie. Okay. She was one of the three sidekicks, and they purposely made her look mid. Okay. She had to wear like this skirt and like a sweater and then a jacket on top of that, so you could see her boot. They made her wear glasses, okay, to make her look kind of nerdy, so she didn't show off her body at all. Okay, she kind of was just they made her look average in Madam Web. So no, there was nothing to notice about her. Okay, and that was done on purpose because Dakota Johnson was the star of that movie. They had to highlight Dakota Johnson, how sexy and pretty she is. They couldn't have a younger, better looking girl with bigger boobs, okay, because she would chew up the scenery, okay, and she would draw attention away from the main protagonist, okay, which was Dakota Johnson. So we couldn't have that, okay. That's why you couldn't really have having Dakota Johnson look pretty and then right next to her have Sydney Sweeney look pretty, because everyone's gonna look at Sydney Sweeney. They're not gonna look at Dakota Johnson, and you can't do that when Dakota Johnson's the star of the movie. Okay, now clearly Madam Web was a piece of crap movie. It sucked. Nobody went to go see it. Okay, it was terrible. Okay, I saw it. I didn't pay for it, but I saw it. Okay, because I am a Spider-Man fan, and Madam Web is a Spider-Man character because I'm a comic book nerd all the way. All right, so I did watch the movie, but unfortunately, Sydney Sweeney did not move me because they purposely made her look mid. Okay, so she couldn't highlight her assets, if you know what I mean, in that movie. Now, since that movie came out, she went on Saturday Night Live, and she made a joke about it. She actually said, when she was the host for Saturday Night Live, to promote the movie, of course, there was no need to promote the movie because nobody was going to go see it. It was that bad. Okay, even by superhero movie standards, it was bad. Okay, horribly written, horribly cast, horrible story, had nothing to do with anything. It was bad all the way around. Okay, and when she hosted Saturday Night Live while that movie was out playing in the theaters to improve publicity for the movie, she just went ahead and said, listen, you probably saw me from this one movie, but you definitely did not see me in Madam Web, okay? Because nobody went to go see that movie. But I was in it. Right? That's what she said. And because she said it like that when she was doing her monologue, it endeared people to her. Her Q score went up higher. She actually outshined Dakota Johnson. She ended up being the most popular person in that movie, despite the fact that her role in that movie was minor. But it worked, okay? Her publicity campaign worked. Okay, by making fun of herself, by making fun of the movie, okay, her Q score went up. Okay, and so now that her Q score is higher, she can get more roles. Okay, now people that are trying to cast their movies, oh, well, people know who she is. Let's get her in the movie. Okay, because we don't have to market. Everyone already knows who she is. She was that girl that was on Saturday Night Live that was in that crappy movie, that kind of thing. So she started getting more work. So the phone started ringing for her the way it never did before. For movies, not for TV shows, for movies. Okay, so, she had a smart agent and stuff. They started accepting certain roles. Now, smart is a relative term, okay? Because once her Q score went up, the first thing she did, okay, was she cheated on her manager, who was her fiance. They called off the wedding, and her excuse for that was she's not ready to settle down, okay? I'm sure that wasn't his excuse, okay? His excuse was probably that she's a fucking whore, okay? Who cheated on him with Glenn Powell, okay? But that was her excuse, her public statement, okay? And yeah, once she became famous, she cheated on her fiance with Glenn Powell, okay? The guy that was in The Running Man recently, Glenn Powell. Okay, and they did a movie together. That's how they met each other. They did a movie together. I forgot the name of it. It was some chick flick. Okay, and Glenn Powell, of course, also had a steady girlfriend. Okay, and he cheated on her as well. And she did not like it. She went on every podcast. I don't remember his girlfriend's name. She went on every podcast to just fucking tell you what a piece of shit Glenn Powell is for cheating on her. Okay, with Sydney Sweeney. Okay, but I'm sorry. If Sydney Sweeney's there, okay, yeah, if I have to shoot a movie for 3 or 4 or 5 months, okay, on location, away from my loved ones, and I'm working with Sydney Sweeney and I'm doing love scenes with Sydney, yeah, I'm going to fuck her too, okay? So I can't really blame him, okay? I'm going to fuck her too. I am, okay? Just honest to God, okay? And every guy out that's watching this knows damn well he would as well, okay? Unless you're gay, of course, all right? So all that happened. That just promoted her more. Her Q score went up even higher because of the scandal, right? It wasn't much of a scandal, okay, but it was there. People were talking about it, okay? The YouTube channels were talking about it, okay? And then she came out with all these other movies. All of them sucked, by the way. All these movies, the rom-coms she did with Glenn Powell, nobody went to go see it, okay? But there was a lot of publicity for that movie because of the scandal. That's probably why they did it, was to get more media attention on the movie. Free publicity, of course. And then all the other movies, I think she made like 6 of the movies after that chick flick. All of them sucked. Nobody watched any of them. Okay, I don't think she even looked sexy. Honestly, I don't know because I didn't watch any of those movies. I don't know what she looked like in those movies. Okay, but during this time, she's cranking out movies like, faster than a freaking machine gun. Okay, she did the American Eagle advertisement, the jeans ad. Okay, where I look good in these jeans, whatever. And the sales skyrocketed because she looked sexy. Okay, if you'll know, I mean, look, we just survived a Victoria's Secret where all the fat women were in lingerie. Okay, that's what they were pushing. That's what the clothing industry was pushing for the past fucking 12 years. There's all those fatties in lingerie that looks like it's about to rip off of them because they're too fucking fat. Okay, like the ground is shaking every time they walk. That's what Victoria's Secret was pushing down our throats. Okay. And then all of a sudden, here comes Sydney Sweeney, who's sexy with big tits, and she's wearing jeans, And honestly, I think those jeans are ugly as fuck. They're not even tight. They're baggy. You can't see her ass. You can't see her legs. Okay, but the point is that she's a sexy woman. Okay, that was it. I look great in these jeans. She said something like that. They got American Eagle's got great jeans or some shit like that. The libtards jumped on. Oh, she's racist. She's a geneticist. Okay, she's over here doing the same thing that Nazis did, and all that kind of shit. Because they're jealous of her because they're all ugly and shit. Okay, and they haven't seen a hard dick since they were fucking teenagers. Okay, and here's Sydney Sweeney walking around fucking lifting every dick that she comes across. Okay, in a way that these ugly fucking libtard women can't do. Okay, so of course they're jealous. Of course they hate her. Of course they want to bring her down a notch. They want to lower her Q score. Of course they do. Okay, but it didn't work. Okay, because of that ad, because it sold so much, they sold so many jeans. American Eagle did because of that ad. Then all of a sudden, everyone else is like, we gotta get some hot girls in commercials, you know. And they're talking about it like it's like something they just discovered. Dude, when I was growing up, it was always hot girls in jean commercials. That's how you sold freaking jeans. It wasn't until the woke virus showed up and started telling you that you need to like ugly, you need to be gay. You know, if you're white, you're the problem. You know, it wasn't until the woke shit happened. Okay, and now it's too late because it's been woke for so long. Nobody knows how to do anything the right way anymore. Okay, the people that are the lunatics are still running the asylum. It's going to take a whole generation of non-woke people, okay, to show up and take over this shit. Okay, for things to go back to normal, to things to be profitable again. You know, so don't hold your breath. This ain't going away for a while. Okay, but that's what happened. Okay, so her Q score went up. Okay, so Sydney Sweeney's Q score is higher now. All these movies sucked. One of them was just plain old Oscar bait. She played an ugly lesbian boxer who gets punched in the face for a living, and of course she did it to show you how her, because I guess the lesbian boxer Christina, whatever the hell her name is, who gives a shit. Okay, she was married to a guy. Well, how can you be married to a guy if you're a friggin' lesbian? Okay, doesn't that kind of go against the whole idea of the... Whatever, I didn't see the movie. I ain't gonna see the movie. Nobody saw the movie, okay? She did it to win it, to get nominated for an Academy Award, which she did not. She made herself look ugly, just like Charlize Theron did in Monster. And Charlize Theron did win an Academy Award by making herself look ugly in Monster, okay? And that's what Sydney Sweeney's trying to do here. It was an Oscar bait movie. Nobody went to go see it. It made no money at all, okay? She made herself look ugly in the movie, played a lesbian, fucking who hates men, blah, 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 all that kind of shit, because men are the problem, blah, blah, blah. Lesbians good, straight white men bad, all that kind of shit, the usual shit that Hollywood drills out, and this movie's no different, okay? So that didn't happen either, but it got her more publicity, so hence her Q score. So she's been able to keep a high Q score for the past 2 years, okay? She's been throwing so much shit at the wall, eventually something is going to stick. Eventually, something is going to catch on. Eventually, she's got so many... I mean, she's been up a bat so many times. You know, 3 strikes, you're out. Well, she's had 8 strikes, and she's still batting. She's not out yet. I think this is her 8th. This is her 8th attempt. Okay, out of all these movies, I actually did a little bit of research on this here, so I can tell you right now. Okay, she did a Euphoria. Okay, that was a TV show she was in, and then right after that, in 2023, she did. She did Anyone But You. That's the chick flick she did with Glenn Powell. Anyone But You in 2023. Then she did Madam Web in 2024. And then she did Immaculate in 2024. And then she did Eden in 2024. And then she did Echo Valley in 2025. And then she did Christie in 2025. And then she does Housemaid in 2025. Okay? Look at that. 8 fucking shots. 8 times at bat. Struck out the first 7. Now that her 8th attempt is successful. Okay, the real question you should be asking yourself here is, who the fuck in Hollywood gives anyone 7 chances or 8 chances? You know, who in the fuck does that? Okay, the reason she got all those opportunities, okay, the reason she kept getting paid, I mean, the movies didn't make any money, but she got paid for all of them. The reason is because she's popular. She has a high Q score, okay? Like I said, anyone who's popular can be monetized, okay? She's controversial, okay? She hides the fact that she doesn't hide it so much. She just doesn't talk about her politics, so clearly that means that she's conservative. So right there, a lot of liberals hate her, and the liberals control the media, so they're going to talk shit about her, and that's just free publicity, okay? For those of us that are conservative, when we hear liberals talking shit about this woman who's really fucking sexy, and the media is talking shit about her because, you know, she's a Republican, you know, all of us conservatives are looking at her like, oh shit, man, you can talk shit about me too. She's fucking hot. You know, I'm going to pay attention to her. You see what I mean? So it backfires. It's a Streisand effect. Okay, the more the liberals kept talking shit about her the past 2 years for being conservative, okay, the more popular she got, especially with conservatives. Because the real heroes out there, okay, in Hollywood are not the ones that are standing up for gay rights, okay, and trans rights, okay, and all that other bullshit and fucking illegal alien rights, okay, and all that. Those aren't the people that are the heroes that the normal public looks at as heroes. That's not them, okay? The real heroes in Hollywood are the ones that go against all of that. Hey, man and women together is a beautiful thing. Getting married, having children, raising a family together, husband and wife, raising your kids together, not getting divorced, being in love with each other, being Christian, taking care of your family, okay? Stuff like that. The ones that are promoting that in Hollywood, those are the real heroes. Because those are the ones that are risking everything for what they believe in. You see what I mean? You know, it's easy to say like, oh my God, gay rights and all that kind of shit when everyone else in your bubble is saying the same damn thing. When all the people in power are saying the same thing. It's different to go against the people in power. You see what I mean? Okay, those are the real heroes because those are the ones that are risking their own ass, risking their own careers, okay, for what they believe in. You see what I mean? These libtards like John Leguizamo, when John Leguizamo goes on TV and he tells you, if you don't like my politics, don't watch my movies, okay? I don't want you watching my movies, okay? When assholes like that go on TV and say shit like that, you know, the conservatives, okay, which are most of the country, according to all the polls, okay, they're going to take you at your word. They're not going to go see your movie, or at least they're not going to pay to go see it. You see? Look at the Christopher Nolan movie. It's going to the Odyssey. They turned Helena Troy into a black woman. Okay, and then you got John Leguizamo's in the movie. I don't know who he plays. You know, yeah, they got a freaking Puerto Rican to be in a movie that takes place in Greece. What, 3,000 years ago? 4,000 years ago? In fact, last I checked, there's not one Greek actor in that movie. Anyway, like you're gonna say that about a Christopher Nolan movie? You know, do you realize what's gonna happen? I think Warner Brothers is doing it. You know, imagine what's gonna happen to Warner Brothers if that movie, The Odyssey, if it flops, because people were so mad at conservatives were so mad at John Leguizamo that they boycotted that movie. Can you imagine what's gonna happen if conservatives are so mad that they cast a black woman to play Helen of Troy, and they decide to not go pay to see the movie because of that? You know what's gonna happen to them? Okay, if that movie flops. Okay, we're talking major layoffs. We're talking studios might get bought out. Okay, everything is going to go to Netflix. Okay, ain't gonna be nothing in the theaters anymore. Okay, that's what's gonna happen. Okay, and they're doing it to themselves because they're stupid ass politics. Okay, if they can keep the politics they want, okay, but just shut up about it. Just shut the hell up about it. Okay. Just like Chris Pratt doesn't always talk about Jesus when he's getting interviewed. He never talks about Jesus, okay, but yet he is a Christian, okay? But yet the goddamn libtards always got to talk about trans rights and BLM, you know, and trans lives matter and gay lives matter, okay, and lesbian lives matter, okay, and illegal aliens, rapists, their lives matter, and all that kind of crap. Okay, you see what I mean? They can't separate themselves. No, I hate Trump. You know, someone needs to do something about Trump, and you know what I mean. You know, like that kind of crap, you know? That's going to turn people off. That's going to turn people off. And Hollywood has not learned their lesson. They're still doing it. Thank God for Sydney Sweeney. At least she's not like that. Not that this movie's any good. It's not. But at least she keeps her politics to herself. For the most part, she keeps her politics to herself. All right? She doesn't talk openly about her conservatism or any of that crap. She tries to promote her movie. When they try to ask her, when they try to like bait her with questions like that, she just deflects. Like, no, I ain't talking about. That's not what I'm here for. You see what I mean? And that's smart. But of course, you know, a lot of women, the women that run Hollywood, which is mostly lesbians, and yes, there is lesbian casting couches in Hollywood, okay? More so than you think. The days of the Harvey Weinstein are over. They've been over for like almost a decade now, okay? It's the other way around now. Okay? Anyway, let's get back to the movie The Housemaid, all right? So where we left off last time, we had Millie. She was at the ballet school to pick up Cece, who's at ballet class, and she meets another housemaid there named Suzanne. And Suzanne spreads a little bit of gossip. She tells Millie, hey, that your employer, Nina, the word is that your employer, Nina, tried to kill her daughter when she was a babe, tried to drown her. And the only reason that she's alive is because Andrew, you know, the young stud husband of hers, he actually called the cops to do a welfare check because Nina wouldn't answer her phone. And that's how they saved Cece from dying, okay? Because Nina was going to drown her daughter, and then she was going to take pills and kill herself too. Okay, luckily she failed because because Andrew called the cops. Okay, and so because of that, she was placed in the nut house for 9 months. Okay, that kind of stuff. All right, so now Millie's scared as shit. Oh my God, what if Nina tries to kill me too? What do you think, Millie? Okay, you know she's bipolar. You know she's psycho. She has the medication to prove it. You snoop through her medication. She's taking antipsychotics, okay, for schizophrenia. Okay, her mood swings are crazy. She lies a lot. She yells. She screams. She throws things. She makes threats. She's always threatening to fucking fire you. Okay, she gave you a room that's basically a dungeon, okay, with a door that you cannot open. Okay, I mean, if she were to lock you in there, you would not be able to get out. There's claw marks on the door. Someone was locked in there in the past. Millie noticed all this stuff. The room is soundproof. She can't even scream for help. She's using a phone given to her by Nina, which Nina can turn off at any time. And she can monitor that phone. She can read all the text messages and emails that are on that phone. Okay, there's one window in Millie's room that she cannot open. And even if she couldn't sneak out of there. She can't fit through it. Okay, there's no bathroom in her room either. Okay, she's living in a multi-million-dollar mansion. Okay, she's got to go 2 flights of stairs through a narrow corridor just to get to her room. Okay, and then across the hall just to get to a bathroom. Okay, she has no days off. Technically her days off are Saturdays, but even Nina won't let her even take Saturdays off. Okay, the daughter Cece treats her like fucking shit. Okay. The husband Andrew, she's turned on by. She wants to fuck him so bad she can't help herself. Okay? And for some stupid ass reason, you got all these red flags, she still wants to work there. This is a load of shit. I know she's an ex-con, and I know she'll go to prison if she loses her job, but she can clearly tell her parole officer, listen, okay, I don't feel safe in this place. I do not feel safe there. Okay? There's way too many red flags. Okay? Too many things that I can't deal with. Okay? I'm going to look for another job. All right? So please, I don't feel safe at this location. And the parole officer is going to work with her. Okay? They're not going to just go, what? You're going to quit that job? Then you're going back to jail. No, that's not going to fucking happen. You know goddamn well that's not going to happen. But that's the excuse they use for why Millie doesn't leave. Because she'll have to finish her sentence. She still owes 5 years to the state. Okay, for whatever she did, and we don't even know what she did yet. Okay. Anyway, so all that's going on. Okay, when they get back, when Millie gets back to the house, she has to give Cece a ride. Cece complains to Millie about how her car stinks. It smells like feet, and Millie's just like, "Oh, thank you," just the little girl disrespecting her again. And this piece of shit little girl steals things from her. Stole her blue hair troll right out of her room. Okay. So this little girl is a piece of fucking shit. Okay, she's not even an honorable girl. She's a fucking piece of shit too. Okay, she's not just picky about how clean her glasses are. Okay, before she drinks orange juice out of them. Okay, she's a fucking thief as well. All right, so that's going on here. Now when she drops off Cece, she sees the groundsman. Okay, who's I guess supposed to be Mexican, but this guy's not Mexican. Okay, his name's Enzo, and he just like looks around moody like. And he says nothing, okay? So she tries to talk to him. He's like, no, speak English. Okay, now Millie knows that he's lying, okay? Now Millie, really, this guy doesn't talk to anybody. He's just there all the time, giving spooky looks, So he knows something, okay? Anyway, he tells her that she shouldn't be, he tells her she shouldn't be here, okay? He does speak English after all. He tells her, you shouldn't be here. Okay, and all of a sudden Nina comes outside. Now Nina, of course, is Amanda Seyfried's character, the psycho bitch I just told you about. I mean, in the middle of the night, she had a jagged piece of mirror in her hand, smiling like that at Millie in the middle of the night. Okay, she's fucking psycho. She was holding that mirror so bad. Okay, that blood was coming down her hand. She cut herself to hold that mirror. Okay, so now she's walking around with a bandage around her palm. Okay, because of that. All right. So Nina goes outside and tells her, "Hey, leave him alone. Don't talk to him. You have no business talking to him." Okay, so she's in her bitch mode again, all right? Nina asks Millie why. She's like, "What are these?" And she's got 2 envelopes here, okay? She's like, "What is this?" Okay? And Millie tells her, those are the theater tickets you told me to buy for you and Andrew. Remember, you said your Andrew wanted to see that show called The Showdown on Broadway, and you asked me to buy you those tickets for Saturday night, okay, and to book you a hotel room so that you and Andrew could spend the night in Manhattan. Remember, you told me to do that the other day, and she did when she was in her nice phase, And then she gave her a bunch of free clothes too when she asked her that, to book this play, these theater tickets. All right. And Nina's like, no, I didn't. Why in the hell would I tell you to book theater tickets for me and Andrew when I have to go out of town that Saturday? And Millie's like, well, you told me to book it. No, I didn't. No, I did not. This is your mistake. Okay? And I'll bet you anything, these tickets cannot even be refunded. So they will come out of your paycheck. And she's like, but I don't even have that much of money saved up right now. She said, well, that's your mistake, so you're going to eat it. Okay? So clearly this is who Nina is, okay? And for some fucking reason, okay, throughout the course of this movie, despite the fact that this interaction is taking place right now, she is still going to work there. You fucking kidding me? This is what I'm talking about when I tell you the movie fucking sucks. This is so fucking unbelievable. Nobody would put up with this. Nobody. Okay, so that's going on here. Blah, 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 Luckily, Mr. Knight in Shining Armor, Andrew, shows up. He always shows up when Nina's going crazy and taking out Millie. He always shows up there to calm Nina down, okay, and to protect Millie from her, okay? Because Nina's always threatening to fire her, told her, stay the fuck away from my husband, all that kind of shit. And it's always Andrew that calms down Nina. It's always Andrew that overrides Nina. So if Nina tells Millie, no, you cannot leave on Saturday, you're going to stay here and work. Anyway, it's Andrew's like, no, you know what? Go ahead and go. Go ahead and go. Don't worry about what my wife said. You go ahead and have a good time this Saturday. He's the one that comes in there to save her. So this is just getting Millie's pussy even wetter for him. Okay? Because he actually is nice to her, whereas Nina treats her like shit. Okay? Okay, so that goes up, and when Andrew shows up, not only is he the knight in shining armor, okay, he shows up with a bunch of flowers to give his wife, his single mom. Oh, I guess she ain't single anymore. She was a single mom when he married her, though, okay, because that's what all guys do. All high-value, rich, billionaire, handsome, tall, charming, ripped abs, square-jawed, big cock, all that kind of stuff. That's what they always do. They always wife up the single mom, okay? Anyway, so that's going on here. Okay, he tells Millie that they can call the credit card company and have the charges reversed. It's no big deal. We'll just call the credit card company and reverse the charges. We'll cancel it. And Nina's like, that's not a thing. And he tells her, actually, sweetheart, it is a thing. Okay, don't worry about it, Millie. We'll take care of it. We'll reverse the charges. You're not going to have to pay for it. Don't worry about it, okay? That's what he tells her. So like I say, he's the knight in shining armor. Okay, this happens more than once in the movie, okay? Okay, so now here comes Saturday. So now on Saturday, Andrew says goodbye to Nina and Cece, because like I said, they're going out of town for whatever fucking reason. Okay, they're going to be gone for a week, okay? They're going to be gone for a whole fucking week, okay? So during that time, we see a little montage. Millie's taking a shower. She's buck-ass naked, but we don't get to see her tits. We do not get to see her tits. I think somewhere in the movie we get to see, like, Andrew's ass, but we don't get to see her tits, okay? Which is kind of fucked up. When I was growing up, we never saw the men's ass, okay? We always saw the woman's tits, though, okay, in the 80s. And then in the 90s, men started showing off their asses. Okay, people like Van Damme and Stallone and Schwarzenegger, they all needed to show us their ass. Dolph Lundgren, all those guys were showing us their ass, especially Van Damme. Every movie, he had to show off his ass. Okay, it became a fucking thing. Even Kurt Russell was showing off his bare naked ass. Okay, guys were shaving their ass so they could fucking show their ass. Okay, oiled and lubed. Okay, for the women. Okay, that became a fucking thing in the 90s. Okay, every guy out there was showing his ass. If he wasn't showing his ass in the fucking movie, dude, there was no movie. Okay, but then even Ben Affleck was showing his fucking ass. Okay, he's got a big ass too, but he was showing it. Okay, but the women quit showing their breasts in the movies. Okay, for some fucked up reason, they quit showing their breasts, but yet the men started going off topless and shirtless and showing off their fucking ass over and over again. The only one I give props to is Kevin Costner. When Kevin Costner did Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, there was a butt scene in that movie. He refused to do it, so they got a body double, okay, to show off Robin Hood's ass in Robin Hood Prince of Thieves, okay? So good for you, Kevin Costner. You did not succumb to the pressure, or maybe it was too flat or something and you don't want to embarrass yourself, okay? Whatever the reason, okay? Good for you. All right. But the point is that it wasn't until the 90s that men started showing off their fucking asses like crazy. And it still goes on to maybe not as bad today. Okay. But now they're just doing full frontal now. Now you watch a fucking show on Hulu or something and there's a schlong right there. Now what the fuck is that? I don't want to fucking see this. I want to see titties, but you can't show titties. You can't show titties on streaming shows because that's sexist. It's misogynistic. It's disgusting. You cannot objectify women that way. But yet they're always showing fucking schlong everywhere, dude. Like, what the fuck is up with that? Do you not fucking know who your audience is? Jesus fucking Christ. We don't even get to see Sydney Sweeney's tits here. What the fuck's up with that? She's fucking naked in the shower and we do not get to see her tits. What the fuck is up with that? God damn. I know Gay Guy made the fucking movie, but goddamn. Do you hate straight guys so fucking much that you're not going to even give us anything? You got some of the nicest tits in Hollywood right there. But you ain't going to show it for us. Like, what the fuck? Anyway. So Millie's taking a shower, like I said, but we don't get to see her tits, okay? And she walks back to her, now she's got to cross a hallway when she leaves the bathroom and then go up 2 flights of stairs to get to her room. So while she's doing that, wearing a towel, Andrew's coming up the stairs, so he sees her in a towel. He's like, oh, God, oh, sorry about that, sorry, and he walks away. So he's a gentleman, right? Okay, she's just like, like that, because her pussy's all wet for him, She got a dildo, a vibrator with his face on it, okay? Anyway, that's going on. Okay, she walks back to her attic room wearing just a towel, like I said. Andrew gets all embarrassed, okay, when he catches her, okay? But Millie clearly does not mind if Andrew looks at her when she's just wearing a towel. Okay, so that's going on here. Downstairs, Andrew tells Millie that he couldn't get the show. He couldn't get the tickets to that show. The name of the Broadway show is called Showdown. Okay, Showdown. That's the name of the show. Okay, well, later on downstairs, Andrew tells Millie that, hey, listen, I tried to cancel the charges for those tickets, but I can't. They're non-refundable. Okay, so tell you what, okay, what I want you to do is I want you to find a friend and I'm going to give you those tickets and I want you to go to Manhattan, use the hotel room, whatever you want, go with a friend and enjoy yourself, okay? Take the day off and just enjoy yourself. You can have those tickets, okay? That's what he tells her, okay? Okay, she's all like that, okay, when he says that, okay? But then she tells him that she doesn't have any friends. She has no friends, no boyfriend, no nothing. Not even a lesbian lover. Her lesbian lover's still in prison. So she can't even bring her. Okay, she's got nobody, okay? She's going steady with a fucking vibrator. That's it. I don't think the vibrator would appreciate, the show. So, yeah, so he's like, really? No one? No one at all? Like that, Okay, so he's like, so what does Andrew do in order to be a good guy and to help her out? He volunteers himself to go with her. Yes, of course he does. Well, I'll tell you what, how about I just go with you then, okay? That kind of thing, Okay, minus the hotel room, okay, sweetie? Like that, okay? He volunteers himself to go with her. Okay, he's like, we could both use a night out, right? So why not? It's supposed to be a great show, man. It's supposed to be such a wonderful show, man. Come on, we're going. Just like that. You see how that works? You see how that works, okay? How convenient the wife is out of town. The wife and the daughter are out of town for a week. It's just him and the sexy housemaid together. He's got these 2 tickets. He can't refund them. He can't return them. It's just him, this sexy ass fucking housemaid. How about we just go? You see what I mean? Okay, this is a load of shit. It's so contrived. It's so fucking obvious. Okay, a blind man can see this coming. Okay? But that's the excuse the movie gives you. It would be one thing if you just seduced her, or something, but for all these like weird circumstances, coincidences just to happen and fall into place this way, it's contrived. Okay, the movie's fucking contrived. Okay, and on top of all this, remember, she's still working there. Okay, she's already scared. The reason she won't leave this fucking job is because she's afraid she'll go back to prison if she leaves. But yet she's not afraid of fucking the owner of the house. Like, if she does that, then she won't go to prison? Do you see where I'm going with this? If this was realistic, she would make sure she never does anything to jeopardize her job, including going out with the fucking husband. So which one is it? Is she scared of losing her job or is she not? Which one is it? Fucking pick one. God damn. Anyway, so we'll get into that in the next. I'm getting worked up here, okay? Anyway, I'll be back to continue my review of this crappy movie. I thank you very much for watching this long, and I'll see you soon on the next one. Bye.